Hey everybody, welcome back to Weight Loss for Women Over 40. We are continuing with the Hormone Whisperer series, and today we're going to be talking about sleep and cortisol, the invisible weight factor. So, welcome back. If you are new here, you are not in a typical weight loss podcast, that's for sure. We are not going to be talking about counting calories. We're not going to be talking about the latest fad diet. We're not going to be obsessing about macros or anything that has anything to do with dieter's mentality. What we're going to be talking about is all mindset stuff, all psychology of why we do the things that we do or don't have the bodies that we want. And we're definitely not going to be talking about a lack of discipline because I know you can be disciplined for short durations. And that's not the problem. Again, it's what's going on between your ears. So, welcome. I am Nikki T. I am your host, also known as Nicole Tournay. I am a weight loss mindset coach, personal trainer, behavioral coach. I am a nutritional specialist, former professional ballet dancer, 2 times TEDx speaker, also worked in physical therapy. And here's a fun fact for you. I have done think it was 12 or 13. I think it was 12 consecutive obstacle course training, not training, races consecutively every two every year. Fun fact, I'm also on the side of, or I was on the side of the trailer. I don't know because I moved, but I was on the side of the trailer of a obstacle course race called Goliathon. If you're in South Jersey or on the East Coast, you probably have heard it because it definitely has made waves and is spreading all over. So go check it out if you want to go there. Anyway, total side note. If you want to know more about me, go to weightlossforwomenover40.net/about. You can find out all the juicy details about me if you really want to go down that route. So, um, yeah, I've been helping women lose weight since 2002 officially. And I taught the dieter's mentality, and I apologize to all my clients that I had to put you through that, but that was what I knew. That was how I thought it was done. But now I teach you how to lose weight that actually feels good in your body without dieting, without restriction, without counting things. So annoying. It's so annoying to me to know that I was so obsessed with my food log journal and weighing things. Like I would literally wipe off grams of protein powder or whatever it was, or cut a chicken. So it was exactly the grams that I was supposed to be intaking. I'm so glad that I don't do that anymore. Anywho, we're going to be talking about hormones in this series. And this is where we're going to go deeper. Last week, we talked about hormones 101 and it not all being about estrogen. So go check out that episode if you missed it. And make sure you hit that subscribe button so then you'll know when the next one will be out. I do post as of this recording. The podcast comes out Friday mornings, sometimes 6 a.m., sometimes 7 a.m. Don't know, feeling out the times. If you have a favorite time, send it to me over on Instagram. Anyway, this series is where we stop looking at hormones as a problem and start listening to what your body is trying to tell you all along. Because your body's always communicating to you. The question really is, are you listening? Are you interpreting the signals correctly? So we're going to be talking about sleep and cortisol today and why this might be the most overlooked reason your body is holding on to weight. Sleep is not just about rest. Sleep is about regulation. Sleep is like plugging your iPhone in and recharging the batteries. And if your sleep is off, your entire hormonal system is speaking a different language than the goals that you want, like that leaner body. And cortisol, of course, gets a bad reputation. You know, if cortisol levels are up, you're screwed, basically, right? Everyone talks about how it's the enemy. And it's really not. Cortisol is your survival hormone, right? It wakes you up in the morning, it gives you energy, it helps you respond to life, right? Without it, you'd just go play in traffic. But here's where things go a little sideways. Your body cannot tell the difference. And I want to add your brain cannot tell the difference between emotional stress and reality and fantasy, right? That's what your brain can't figure out. Your body can't tell the difference between emotional stress, mental stress, physical stress, or lack of sleep because it all registers essentially the same thing, right? It's a threat to your body. It's a threat to your survival if you're not sleeping. And when you're not sleeping well, your body goes, something's not right. We need to stay alert. And the cortisol levels stay elevated. Not dramatically, right? But just enough. It's that just enough that keeps you holding on to body fat, especially in your belly. Could help you or could be giving you cravings for sugar, needing that quick energy boost. Could make you feel a little bit wired, but also exhausted and kind of wondering why nothing is working anymore. So it's not just about how many hours you sleep, okay? Because I think, again, this is where I feel like we can't just give a general statement of you need 7 to 8 hours of sleep or whatever, because everybody's so different. There's some people that thrive on 5 hours of sleep. There's some people that thrive on 10 hours of sleep, right? And it could ebb and flow. I know for me, the longest time, 8 hours of sleep was my sweet spot. And then it turned to like 7 hours. And I felt really good on 7 hours. Now it's probably creeping a little bit more towards 8. Depends on what's going on, right? Depends on how I sleep at night. So it's not just about the hours that you sleep, right? It's about how safe your body feels while you're awake. You can't outsleep a nervous system that feels constantly under pressure. Let me say that again. You cannot fix this with a bedtime routine alone. Because if your entire day feels like you rushing around, overthinking, over processing, pushing, trying to prove yourself, constantly being on, then your body doesn't just magically relax at 10 p.m. or whatever time you designated bedtime. Here's the other thing. Your body doesn't go by the clock, right? Time was a construct built so people showed up at the same time at the same place, right? Whether it was working in the factories or the industries or meeting your best friend for coffee. You can't be like, well, when the sun is 2 degrees to the north, that's when we're going to meet and have coffee at Starbucks, right? I mean, time has its place, but our body, I don't think it's really caught up in the sense like, yes, we can get regulated on a time schedule, but our bodies are meant to be part of the circadian rhythm, part of the ebb and flow of the universe, right? So what happens usually is if you feel like you're doing the right things, right? Maybe you're eating healthy, maybe you're working out, trying to get to bed earlier, but if your body is still holding on to weight, yes, mindset is a piece of this, right? But sometimes underneath all that, there's a baseline of stress that your body has normalized. I think a lot of us are operating on stress on a regular basis when it's not needed, right? Stress was meant to increase when there was a threat to your body. Nowadays, the stress level is holy crap, we got to get Jimmy to soccer and Susie to ballet class, and they got to be on time, and they got to then after that they got to go to their friend's house, or I got a work presentation that I need to do. I have to public speak and all these things, right? They're just low level stress things, but they add up. And here is how this connects to weight loss. When cortisol stays elevated over time, your body becomes more efficient at storing energy, not burning it. And this is from a biological standpoint. Burning fat is not a priority when your body thinks you might need that energy to flee, to run, to get away from danger. So again, this is not about willpower, and this isn't about trying harder. This is about asking your body, can I trust that I don't need to stay in survival mode? And I will say too, I think the best time to have cortisol raised is in your workout, not like steady throughout the day, but spiking it, as you're doing your workout. and then letting it calm down. The shift is asking yourself, instead of asking yourself, what do I need to eat? What workout should I be doing? Start asking yourself, what signals am I sending my body all day long? Because everything that you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to do this, I have to get that done. And oh, do you remember I forgot that for the past 4 weeks? You're sending the signal that there's an emergency going on. Sleep doesn't start the moment you go to bed, right? It starts the moment you wake up. How is your day? How are you setting up your day? Now, we can also say the opposite of, are you sitting too much? Are you not moving your body enough where you want to go to sleep at night, where you're physically tired, right? I think there's definitely a component in our society of that too, right? So when I'm talking to you guys on the podcast, I'm talking to a variety of different people. Yes, some of you may be hitting the gym and you may be hitting it hard, but you're constantly running on stress from work, from kids, and all that other thing. There's other parts, people listening to this, where you're working and you're sitting all day, and then you're going home and you're sitting on the couch. Your body hasn't had physical activity to get tired. So of course, when you might be mentally tired, but you're not physically tired, right? So there's a lot of things that are going on to get a good night's sleep. So here are a few things to start noticing. Don't overhaul everything, just be aware. Do you wake up in the morning and immediately go into doing mode? Do you immediately wake up, pick up your phone, and start checking your email, checking your socials, whatever that is for you? Are you constantly mentally on, even when you're sitting still? So are you sitting and maybe you're like, oh, I'm going to take a moment and relax. And yet what you sit there wind up doing is thinking of all the things you haven't done, thinking of your to-do list, thinking like things that are kind of stressing you out a little bit. A lot of times we don't just sit to sit. Like daydreaming has been frowned upon, right? When we were little, but there's an element of where your mind, you just escape. It's almost like watching TV, but in your own head, your own personal TV. And you get to play whatever the heck you want in there, right? You don't have to watch whatever the 9,000 channels that have absolutely nothing on, right? It's kind of an escapism, right? But a lot of times when we're sitting, we're thinking of other things and things that we have to do, like being present. And I think this is why meditation is so helpful, because it does clear your head and it helps you practice getting the squirrely thoughts out of your mind, right? Another one to ask is, do you ever truly feel done for the day? Like, is your to-do list so long that you're not going through it and you just still feel exhausted, like and a failure kind of like, didn't do that again? I think that picking 1 to 2 things, like top priority things to get done during the day, is super helpful because it kind of gives your brain a little gold star. We all love those gold stars. I know I do for sure. But it just reinforces your brain of like, yes, we did it. And as opposed to, no, we didn't do it. We suck. Again, we still didn't do it. Another thing you're going to ask is, are you using your workouts as a way to burn calories or to punish yourself or to force yourself, or as a way to regulate your nervous system, move your body, and feel really good about your body? The reframe here that I want you to take away with you is, weight loss is not just about creating a calorie deficit. It is about creating a physiological and psychological environment where you feel safe to release the weight. And sleep is one of the clearest reflections of whether that environment exists. So instead of forcing better sleep, right, start creating a body that allows it. This might look like slowing down transitions in your day, not stacking stress on top of stress, letting go of some of that to-do list, delegating, or just deleting it. Giving your body moments where it doesn't have to perform, where you can just relax. in a healthy manner, right? Another one I want to offer to you, and I have been doing, I think it's been a month now. I haven't been wearing my iWatch. I haven't been wearing any watch, to be honest with you. Um, and it's freeing. There's an element of I'm gonna pick on my parents. They have Fitbits and they're so funny. And I do, I love this for them because it does help them be more active, I believe. But they're so funny about getting their steps in every hour, right? And they'll march in place if they miss some. And of course, there's jokes about, putting the watch on my dog and letting my dog get the steps from like things like, whatever. So I do think that they have their merit, but we have lost so like we're not in touch with our bodies anymore. Like we don't understand how our body feels when we physically move, right? So meaning if you're looking at your iWatch and waiting for those circles to close or whatever, or the number of steps that you're trying to hit, you're basing it on this little machine that is telling you what you've been doing as opposed to going, how does my body feel? Have I moved it enough today? How like an internal checking system as opposed to an external thing. I want to challenge you. Go without your watch. Go without closing any circles for a whole month and see what happens. Listening to your body going, body wants to move, right? So it's not like I'm not working out or I'm not walking. I'm still doing the same things essentially, but I'm not tracking how many steps I did. I'm not tracking the circles, right? I'm going by my body. How does my body feel? Do I feel like I need to move a little bit more today? Yeah, maybe. Do I feel like I need to move less and maybe stretch a little bit more today? Yeah. Or do I feel like I need to go for a very long walk in the park? Or do I need to do some sort of cardio, whatever it is, right? Get internal to get the external instead of relying on the external things in our lives to tell us what it thinks we need. I hope that makes sense. So, getting back on track, these small things, lowering our stress levels, regulating your nervous system, they're going to lower your cortisol in a way that no supplement's going to. And I highly recommend meditation. If you haven't done meditation, highly recommend it. Google guided meditation. That's how I started. I can't remember her name. It's what is it called? Beyond. I don't remember. It's a podcast. Breaking Beyond, I think is the name of the podcast. Loved it. Jill Lemke something. Um, she was the podcast guided meditations that I used in probably one of my darkest times of my life, and I absolutely loved it. And I didn't know anything about really meditation. I didn't understand it. It was very kind of weird to me, but for me, that's how I started. Because for me to sit still and wrangle my thoughts, it's like herding cats, right? And I'm sure you could probably feel the same way, but you'll get better. It's a practice, right? And when you can kind of clear your mind and kind of step out of whatever's going on, you're going to be more peaceful. You're going to be more regulated. So give meditation a try. Um, yeah. All right. So I want to be very clear about something. This is not about doing less, right? You can still keep doing the things that you're doing. It's about doing them differently. It's understanding the mindset behind why you're doing the things and keeping those stress levels down. You can absolutely be successful. You can build your business. You can show up for your family, but your body doesn't have to pay the price. So if this episode hit you, and if you're starting to realize that your body is not broken and your hormones aren't to blame, it's just mindset work and understanding how your body operates. This is exactly the work that I do with my private clients. And we don't do meal plans. So I am not the coach. If you want a meal plan, I am not the coach for you. If you want me to spoon feed you every little step, no calorie tracking, all that, I am the coach though. If you want to go deeper into understanding how you operate, how you rewire the relationship with your body, how to regulate your nervous system, and to actually create weight loss that actually feels sustainable. That's what I can do for you. So you can stop fighting yourself and you can finally feel really at home in your body. So if you're ready for that, go to weightlossforwomenover40.net/call and apply for private coaching. I do not take everyone. There is an application process, and then we're going to get on a phone call and see if we're a fit. And I'm not a fit for everyone, and I'm okay with that because the clients that I work with, they're really committed. They are all in, and they're not looking for some quick fix. They're not looking for the next shot, the next pill, the next fast thing. They're looking for something sustainable where they can eat the foods that they love and still get the body that they want and actually enjoy life. Like there's a concept. So if that sounds like you, head over to weightlossforwomenover40.net/call and apply. All right. If you are loving this episode and these series, please share it with a friend who needs to hear this because the more women who understand their bodies, the less we keep blaming ourselves for something that was never about willpower in the first place. I will see you in the next episode of the Hormone Whisperer series where we talk about inflammation and mood swings. Have a wonderful day.